Good morning, folks, and this is Ray, and I'm talking to you from the worldwide headquarters of San Jacinto County Television. First of all, get started. This is kind of a retraction somewhat. That a while back I published a video about where the money was coming from, and I speculated at that particular moment in time that money had possibly coming from China. And still don't know if that's totally true, but this is a release of information that I've gathered about the LLCs in San Jacinto County, and it is what it is. So we'll explain that later and in the broadcast, and I appreciate y'all watching and hope y'all would subscribe and follow me in my endeavors. And it's all about giving people the knowledge and information so they can make up their own decisions. So, again, my name is Ray McCoppin, and here's my phone number and kind of my business card. And if there's anything I can do for any of you, please give me a call. Again, and we do some of the streaming television here in San Jacinto County, and if there's anything of interest that you would like videoed or whatever, give me a call and we'll try. All right, let's get started. Okay, so let me bring up. So this was a document that I and some other resources have generated, and it's taken quite a bit of time to gather this information and come up with exactly what's going on. And again, this is only conclusions based upon information, and some of the acronyms we may use here are different than what other people may say, but I'm a East Texas boy, and I was born in East Texas and raised here, and I try to talk in most common language. So I named this Analysis of the Acquisition of Over 52,000 Acres in San Jacinto County. And we went through and looked at the, I'm going to say, land records and the CAD information, and we came up with the fact, some of y'all have already seen my spreadsheet, that comes up with about 52,000 acres in San Jacinto County. And we investigated who it was that was managing these things. And so the real key to it was this company right here, Alexander Land Company, Georgia, Texas, which appears on the LLC list. And its official registered address is a New York address as its principal. And it is the control hub, and that is 9 West 57th Street, Suite 5000, New York, New York. And the key figure in that is Gregory Alexander. He is the founder of Conifer Management, which I've talked about before, and a former partner of the prestigious investment firm Ruane, Cunniff, and Goldfarb. And they're well known for a thing called a Sequoia Fund, which is a kind of eco-friendly investment, if you would. Okay, so there is in the I think it's 55 acres. This Alexander Land Company LLC listed, and it's listed as the owner of 55 acres down off Red Road in San Jacinto County. Anyway, I would consider that particular investment somewhat wetlands, but be it as may, it could be invested in and developed. I don't know. There are dozens of LLCs, i.e., Lake Livingston Ranch, North Houston Land and Timber, the Woodlands San Jacinto Ranch LLC, and these are what's called SPVs, or Special Purpose Vehicles, created to hold the title of specific tracts of land to keep an overarching consolidation under the Alexander Group, or whatever you want to call them, or Alexander Conifer umbrella. Source of the money. And so the capital for these multi-hundreds of $1 million land purchases come from different places, but it appears to be private equity, personal wealth, and Gregory Alexander is probably one of the high things, but he has high net worth clients managed by Conifer Management. And Alexander is a highly successful value investor who spent decades managing billions in assets. No question about it. Investment model. And so far, patterns have been so far in Florida and different places that it's kind of a buy and hold pattern, and they've done 80,000 acres or so in Florida, and they have 50,000 acres here. But I will tell you, in Florida there is this thing called Blue Ribbon, and the Blue Ribbon has been it's still being, I'm going to say, debated in the Florida House, which is in session right now and hadn't been finished, and I think it's still in committee, and they haven't figured out exactly what they're going to do, but it was Blue Ribbon thing was kind of put out there as a starting point. There's both a House version and a Senate version. Don't know what the outcome is going to be. Texas activity, San Jacinto County we've been, I'm going to say, noted as that, but I think there has been activities in other counties. Needless to say, these people have been actively intervening in utility cases, and there was a case, the PUC, and it's PUC case 57, that's the Texas Public Utilities Commission, and it's case 57-648 with Entergy, and Entergy was wanting to run a high line basically across San Jacinto County, somewhere up north across the lake, and from basically the Toledo Bend Reservoir area where there's they have energy generation capability and are working on building some more. And anyway, they were involved in that. They actually put their own 2 cents in, so you can actually go look that up. If you look at the the PUC case 57648, you can see that the Lake Livingston Ranch LLC basically wanted a different route for that high line to protect their interests. And so the city of Cold Spring has also entered their comments on that as well. And it looked like they've done some aerial mapping for different purposes. I don't know exactly why, but they're it suggests that there's a master plan being developed or something, and they're looking at what to do with all this land. All right, so let's move on. This is the summary of information and why we came to some of the conclusions of what we came up with. And in the list, there's an Alexander Land Company LLC Georgia that actually owns 55 acres in San Jacinto County, and basically if you follow that through Georgia, it lists their headquarters as being 9 West 57th Street, New York. And then because of the PUC case, we can say that that's linked there. And the names, I'm going to say Alexander Group uses is stereotypical for their private investment vehicles. And so that's what we get. And you can see here that the Woodlands San Jacinto Ranch LLC is one of the largest taxpayers in the county, and it's tied back to the Conifer Group. Okay. In short, the money is coming from a private New York billionaires investment firm, and it's controlled, centralized in Manhattan, with a likely goal of implementing a massive and potential tax advantage development or conservation project similar to those established in Florida. Okay, so we can kind of look to Florida and see what's going on there, and probably what's going to happen here. And the money is coming from high net worth clients and institutional investors managed by Conifer Management and associated Acacia funds. And it's sophisticated global pool of capital, if you would. So it's not just United States fund. There's global implications here. And because Conifer is a private investment firm, it does not release, it's a private investment firm, does not release the public list of individual names. However, you can go look at and extract through SEC filings and global proxy reports and shareholder disclosures, and you can identify specific types of clients and their major institutional entities. Okay, so according to the Conifer's SEC filings, they offer high net worth individuals, wealthy families, and private individuals who meet sophisticated investor criteria. Many of these are long-term value investors who followed Greg Alexander when he was with Ruane Cunniff. And anyway, So some of those people followed him over to where he is now. And then institutional investors, and that's, people like pension funds, insurance companies, and sovereign wealth funds. Anyway, pooled investment vehicles. We talked about those earlier. Okay, money is consolidated, and it's consolidated into several. Okay, Acacia funds, and those funds are listed here. The Acacia Partners LP, Acacia Conservation Fund LP, blah blah. Okay. Public records and proxy filings and entities like Jubilee Life show that the source of money for these funds includes, Florida Retirement System, Switzerland International Development Fund, German Institutional Asset Fund, Aberdeen's institution funds out of the UK, a Pakistani banking institution, South Africa. Okay. Source and control of the money. It says here specifically, money used to purchase 50,000 acres and is controlled and deployed through Acacia Conservation Fund and Acacia Partners. The source is largely equity-based, meaning that the actual cash of these pension funds and wealth funds, it's cash. It's not bank debt. In other words, somebody didn't go borrow the money and invest it. It's cash from wealthy families and stuff. All right, control. It says control comes from these global sources, and the control is centralized in New York City under Gregory Alexander. It says he makes the final decisions on the land acquisition, mapping, and development strategies. Okay. The logic of conservation funds is, as the vehicle suggests, being deployed here with a triple bottom line approach. And this is, again, pure conjecture, but this is actually been shown to be true. Most situations, there's other people that are doing the same thing. It's called triple bottom line. So, let's explain. In summary, the money is a mix of public pension capital and teachers and firefighters, international institutional wealth from Europe and Asia, and channeled through a single New York investment house. All right. And so the triple bottom line, and this is about a typical business looks at their single bottom line, net profit. And so triple bottom line it measures the company's or investment success based on impact in three specific areas: profit, which is typical, most businesses, people, and planet. And so we're going to explain that. And traditional view, profit is how much cash did the investment generate? And, this particular thing is, it might not generate a whole lot of capital. It talks about timber harvesting, generating capital. But let's face it, they bought a whole bunch of land from a defunct timber company. A couple of different ones, but that's just what they bought, and so that's good. But it also talks about mitigation banks. And this is where the developers pay a landowner to protect wetlands in exchange for building somewhere else. In other words, it's like you pay somebody to protect wetlands or protect forest or whatever, and they build somewhere else. So, but by paying for the mitigation, they offset their what they're doing somewhere else. So it could be that we will have protected wetlands in exchange for a project that's done down in Harris County, let's just say, and that's not a bad thing. I'm going to say not a bad thing. Good for us. I mean, there are some wetlands around San Jacinto County that I call them wetlands. You can call them whatever you want, that should be protected, and I'd like to see them protected. And this is a good way to do it. So it's a good thing. I think that's perfectly legitimate, and I don't have a problem with it. Okay. People. And so this is a kind of a social bottom line, and it involves, how does a company affect the community and its employees? And that's kind of the traditional view. But in this particular this involves projects that impact the local infrastructure, job creation, and housing. Love to see job creation, better local infrastructure, housing, and if we can save the wetlands and stuff, this is all great. Don't have no problem with it. And I think we should be doing this. Needs to be approached in proper framework and design. Okay, planet. Environmental bottom line. I'm all about preserving things. I try to preserve certain things on my own land they can implement massive, I'm going to say, conservation easements and help protect their watershed, Lake Livingston, and the Sam Houston National Forest. All for that. They can get, I'm going to say, conservation tax credits potentially that go towards the bottom line, and I don't really have a problem with that either. The baseline of it is, I hope they don't come in and clear cut a whole bunch of land. All right. And here's why they, are doing a triple bottom line investment. It's a risk management tool. Okay. It gives resilience, it has political favor, and it has institutional appeal. So, many of the high network clients like Florida Retirement System, the European pension funds, have mandates that they invest in environmental and social governance projects. A triple bottom line approach makes this land acquisition an attractive green investment for global capital. All right. It's hard to come out and say what the ROI is for this, but you can look at some of the particular things, and I'm going to say it's hard to come up with a number. I would like to think that they're doing fine, and I don't know. Here's some increase. I'm gonna say holdings ROI. It's hard to say. At one time, I thought that the money was coming from China, and I'm going to say it looks like much of it's coming from much more conservative, at least, viewpoint at this particular moment in time. But I will say that these monies are more global than I can say local. And so if you look at the current, what we know is who are the investors in these funds is, everyone's Florida retirement system. Some of these are required to report, and that's the reason we know this. But there are other investors that are, high value investors that aren't required, and we don't know who they are. And it could still have some investment from no telling where. It's truly global. So, still don't know exactly. What we do know is the control and the money comes out of one single office in New York run by Gregory Alexander, and he makes the final decisions on the land acquisition, mapping, and development strategies. That's what we do know. And I hope by telling people about this triple bottom line, profit, people, planet, that we can, I'm going to say, be somewhat more assured that things are going to be fine and not massive deforestation or massive development in the nature of what has been seen in other places. They are talking about, communities that are walkable. In other words, they would have all the things that people would need within walking distance of their residence, and hopefully that means jobs. That means, nice place to purchase your food, and education facilities, all in a small footprint that don't destroy our forest and stuff as much as we are currently doing it today. I don't disagree with that. I personally own 16 acres of land, and I enjoy the property that belongs to me. But that's just me, and someday I may need a community that is walkable, and that may be something that I need in the future. And might like to see that here in San Jacinto County. Again, my name's Ray, and at the beginning of this video, you can actually call me on my phone or email me at San Jacinto County TV at Gmail, and send me anything you want. I'm an open book. I'm not trying to particularly destroy anybody or anything. I think our public needs to be informed, and I'm just trying to inform them what I know. And it took me quite a while to gather all this information, because nobody would simply sit down and plop it down into your lap. I had to get a list of all the LLCs, and then investigate every one of the LLCs and come out what they meant and stuff, and like this one right here, I gathered information, found out about the PUC case, and this one here, and I figured out, I can go to Georgia and find out that it says where its headquarters is, which was the only one that you can really do that. Most all of them go through Delaware, but this particular one doesn't. They own 55 acres down there off of Red Road. And we assume that they're part of this whole situation. Nobody denies that Greg Alexander is the kind of the head of this whole thing, and even the county judge called them the Alexander Group. Okay. Can't find anything by that name, but you can figure out who Greg Alexander Group is, and Alexander Group is this Conifer Management LLC based in New York, and they're the ones that invest all the money, and all these LLCs here in the county are these special purpose vehicles, or SPVs. And anyway, that's what's going on. There still could be some Chinese money, but the guiding principles, I think, are of the Conifer investments are pretty stable and pretty good in most respects. I can't say that they might not do some things that might be, I'm going to say, unpleasant, but it's possible. The other thing that you have to understand is they're looking for ways to be, as profitable as possible, and I'm going to say long-term tax abatements and or tax deferrals, and I'm going to say mud districts and different things might come into play. Whether that is a good deal or a bad deal, I don't know at this particular moment. And I'm, just stating that. The other side of the coin is these people have been here for quite some time, talking to all of our a lot of our public officials, and have bought a lot of land from a lot of different people, and some of the, I'm going to say, transactions look kind of, I'm going to say, suspicious. That's all I got to say today, and if you like to keep informed, I will try to keep you informed. And again, the investment that is here may not be Chinese in name, but it is truly a global investment that is here from all over the world, and some of it could be from, I'm going to say, Asian existence. And again, if you want to call and talk to me, I am always an open book and always ready to take your criticism and or compliments as they may be. And I tried to tell the truth, and the only reason I pointed to China as being a potential source was that was mentioned in some conversations with members of the I'm gonna say government. They mentioned it to me, and at the time I couldn't not say it was but it still is a global operation, and investments are coming from could be coming from anywhere in the world, and so the who knows what that's going to bring. But I think part of it is they want to invest in land that they can actually probably mitigate other developments in other places, and they very well may be doing projects down closer to Houston that they use our land as mitigation to offset what they're doing down there. So if they destroy some wetlands down there, they would offset it with the wetlands that they have here. Or if they destroyed some forest down there, they would offset it with forest up here. And so that's not a bad idea. It's a good idea, and I like the thought of that. The downside of it is we have a lot of recreational opportunities here, including, and a lot of people like to hunt and fish and stuff, and there's been a bunch of people that have been I'm gonna say knocked out of their hunting leases, and but that's okay. I mean, we'll survive from that. Anyway, I'm about done today. Almost 37 minutes long. I would like to again say, here's my phone number, and you can call me anytime. And it doesn't matter to me. You can criticize me or whatever, but if you would please follow me and subscribe, that would help me out. I'd appreciate it, and thank you for watching and listening.